Hey, do you love the Songs or Spells podcast, presented and produced by me, Karlyn King, hearing all about how rock stars use magic in their lives? And do you want to level up your life using the easy spiritual tips discussed with our amazing guests like Aurora, Idols, and OG Sex Pistol Glenn Matlock? Well, now is the time. Over on our Patreon community, think of me as a personal guide for your spiritual glow up. I've personally manifested many things like relationships, tuition fees, and even specific podcast guests. I'm here to keep it fun and entertaining and welcome you into a wonderful community with weekly lessons on things like the law of attraction, manifesting, and leveling up your life, witches. So what are you waiting for? As Billie Eilish, Bruno Mars, Russ, even Ariana Grande know. Yep, they practice this. A weekly bit of witchery does not take long. Once you subscribe to the Patreon community, you have full access to the entire back catalogue of exclusive weekly Patreon episodes and a weekly group connect call where we share tips on how we apply this to our everyday lives and support one another. So to join, click on the link in the show notes or our bio link at Songs or Spells Podcast on Instagram or our TikTok bio link at Songs or Spells and select Join the Community. Now is your time. I can't wait to meet you. Welcome to this very, very special double guest episode. Thank you, universe, for bringing me these tremendous guests this week. So first of all, I am joined by Lindy Fay Hella, solo artist with Dei Farne and vocalist with Wardruna. Now, if you've watched the show Vikings or you've ever played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will have heard Lindy Fay's incredible expressive vocal. They are about to embark on a massive US tour. They have millions upon millions of views on YouTube, and they are really bringing this traditional Nordic music back to the mainstream where it belongs. And second of all, I am joined by the incredible Johanna Elf. Johanna is a certified herbalist who creates herbal remedies, natural skincare, ritual provisions, and natural perfume. Inspiration from Northern European folklore and magic, blended with current scientific research, makes up her London-based brand Cult Botanic. Johanna also frequents North London's alternative music scene and has collaborated with Lindy Fay and Wardruna in many, many ways, as you will hear throughout the episode. So let's dive in. Thank you so much for being here. So my first question to you both then, I guess start with Lindy. Are you spiritual and how does this manifest in your daily life?
Yeah, I will absolutely say I'm spiritual, and I believe in energies in nature too. I don't think too much about what it is really, or what, of course I do. I think about it, but it's more like you feel stuff, and I think that there are energies out there in the world. Everything has an energy to it, even the stones and the ground, like. And I also think that everything is in this world is of importance, even the things you don't like that much. I said it's like difficult to explain, but how I feel about it. I'm always curious also of things, but it's regular. It's mostly based on nature, maybe on things you can feel but not always see.
I love that. Yeah. Because it really leaves it open to interpretation, doesn't it? It's down to you, the spiritual being, like how do you feel about certain things, whether it's an animal, a pet, a person.
Yeah. And I like to try to have as open heart and mind I can about those things. But sometimes you feel, for example, this extremely good energy and you don't know exact who or what or whatever what was causing it, but the good energies I especially appreciate, of course,
because I feel like when you perform, that's really visible. I think the audience really feels that when you perform, and I feel like a large part of your performance style is like raising an energy. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially with Wardruna, I have to say that for me that is a spiritual event, or like a concert. Then I go into some kind of mode, and that depends on also, again, like you just feel things. So whoever maybe is in the audience or whatever. So it's like almost like I feel exchange of energies in a way.
Yeah, that really comes across. Yeah.
So I really appreciate, but I know the others in the band also, we are sometimes talking about it, that we just call it the energy, it's such a good energy with Wardruna audience. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, they're definitely our tribe, that's for sure. Yeah, and what about Johanna? Are you spiritual, and how does this manifest for you?
Hi, thank you. Yes, short answer, yes. And long answer, I guess I've always been into the occult and esoteric for as long as I can remember, really. I kind of have it from both sides of my family a little bit. My grandmother was very into the spirit world. So she used to go to seances in Helsinki, in Finland, when she was young. And then later on, she was dealing with herbs a lot and plants and arranged gardens. And she lived in haunted houses. And so that was quite a big part of my childhood. And her sister was a clairvoyant, and she herself, her main gift was finding things. So it was just like a normal for me, I guess. And also on my dad's side, he was very into alchemy and plants and poison. And so I had a bit from there as well. And kind of going on what Linda was saying, being Scandinavian, I'm from Sweden, it's also this nature energy, like animism it's very close to me. And so I mainly use natural and elementary magic in my practice. And with the brand, I normally say it's spirituality meets science. So I studied herbal medicine, but I'm massively into folklore and folk magic. So I've always kind of tied those two together. Even though it's a scientific base, it's still, people have been working with herbs and plants for thousands of years. They knew then that it works, and today we know, but maybe we have a different need of proving things. But I feel like it's coming back a little bit now, because some countries never gave it up completely, like Germany. It was most likely because of the wars. They still had herbal medicine very present for them. So even if you go into a pharmacy in Berlin now and you say you got a backache, you get the tea, and as well as something chemical or Western medicine, a mix of those two now. But I feel like people are getting a little bit more into more natural medicine.
In terms of scent, then that's such a large part of what you do. And I know you're both really into scent and fragrance and perfume. So what are you wearing today?
It's lignum, what is it called? Lignum vitae. I don't know if I say it correctly. By Beaufort. So it's an English brand. It's made by the drummer in Prodigy.
Oh, wow.
So interesting.
Yeah. And it smells like, for me, it's like totally comforting, because it smells like almost a lemon biscuit or a lemon pie, just that you are out in the woods. Where I'm from, it's like the woods, but then you have water also, or you have the seawater, and you have seawater. It's like seawater and forest and lemon cake in this thing here.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, if that sounds like something you would like, I absolutely can say that you should try it. Anyone that is into comforting woody scents with a little bit of fun added to it, because it's a fun scent. I think it's dark in a way, but it's also fun. So I'm wearing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that.
Johanna, what are you wearing today?
Well, Lindy, today I am wearing something that I think you might know.
Oh, that I know very well. Yeah.
Violet Shot by Olfactive Studio. So, because I was thinking I need to wear something with the weather, and then for this podcast, I wanted something a bit moody and a little bit mystical, but still to do with nature. So I went for this, and it's got mainly violets. That's what comes to mind at first. But then you can really sense the patchouli coming through, which I thought was pretty suitable. And then labdanum in the bottom. And it's got almost this smokiness to it as well. So it's like a moody, punchy violet.
It smells amazing on you, that one there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll put some on now.
You mentioned patchouli. So what is like the significance of patchouli for you both?
One of the reasons I love patchouli, so it's mysterious. It's had a hint of chocolate to it sometimes. Like for natural dark chocolate, it has a hint of that sometimes. And also for me, it's like I find it very exciting that it actually gets better and better with time. It's one of those few things that doesn't, not few, it's probably many things that doesn't spoil with years, but patchouli just gets better and better.
It's like a good wine, like aged.
Yes.
I love it because it's got what Lindy's saying as well. It's that kind of slightly mysterious. To me, it's almost like an off smell. It's not like a completely clear, beautiful smell. It's slightly off, which makes it more intriguing. You always want to smell it again. And then in the perfume world also, I think it's amazing because it binds together scents very well.
It's so funny, isn't it, that could be in so many sort of mainstream fragrances, but people maybe don't understand its significance sort of magically or spiritually.
Karlyn, what are you wearing today?
Actually, here it is, like magic. So this is from a woman called Nikki's Aromatics. Shout out to her. And it's called Divine. So it's supposed to be quite uplifting, and you can use it as a scent or as a room spray. I sprayed my little work area before the podcast started just to cleanse the space and the energy for it just to be a nice vibe for us to talk. I like anything custom, handmade, special, one-off, anything like that. I'm into it. So I'm really curious about how you combine the connection with scent and music, because I understand that you both have done that in quite different ways.
Yeah, it's for me, I kind of scent, either if I create music or if I listen to music, I scent the music. Like I always include, and I've done that for many years, so like I kind of include the scents into what kind of mood am I today, or when I'm listening to this music, what kind. So I sometimes scent the music in a way, find a perfume that suits them. But that I think that kind of, it helps the creative process. At least if I'm creating something, it really helps to have things to smell. But it can also be incense, for example.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a perfume, but I think it helps. It's like it's open up more of, I don't know. It opens up a creativity thing. It just helps. It's yeah.
I've never heard anyone say that before, that they've used like scent as a muse almost. That's really interesting.
Yeah, but I discovered it, in the 90s. I think it's like, because then I worked in a perfumery, and but this was a perfumery that was different than normal perfumeries, so it's so I had the opportunity to go almost every morning, and I could go and smell all this. So then I started with that, to just scent stuff. I had people, friends, and I just started to imagine who can wear this and that, and I started to smell people's skin. I'm aware of that. Must have been people are probably like customers will wonder what is it with this girl here, but I just wanted to, because if you smell someone's skin, I think then it's easier to find a scent that actually suits that person, I think. So it started there, I think, and then, you start to scent other things, like what you can imagine, music, or what day it is today, if it's rains outside, or so it's a fun thing, and then you start bubbling in your head, and you get some things.
I love that Lindy uses scent to then create music, and I sometimes use music to create scent. I think that's so
Wow.
interesting, and it's like that's also why the kind of exchange that we have, it's really great.
Oh yeah, we had a really nice. Yeah, we've been working a lot together, for most bits, exchanging ideas and also, but we also have been out and smelling stuff, the gardens of England and.
Yeah, we did like several. We've done quite a few like day trips, like scent-based day trips. So we've been visiting gardens and smelling loads of different flowers, or just places. They could be, doesn't have to be a flower. They could be a space, or like our next place we're going to go to is Avebury. So we'll go to the stone circles and see how it smells there.
Wow.
Maybe we'll create something for them. Because we worked, when I did with Botanic, I did an intention oil for Wardruna. So when the build up to that was me and Lindy smelling a lot of stuff together, talking about scent a lot, scent memories and scent stories, really, mainly more like the Scandinavian side, I suppose. But also I feel like I've been in England for 20 years, so some of the nature here is still quite similar in a sense, like in historical places or some of the forest, and so that was really amazing. And then I listened quite a lot to some of the albums, obviously, so that was in a way music, creating scent to music in a way, but then it's almost like how does this translate into scent, isn't it? It's kind of a different, it's a story that's already been told, but then how to translate that into a scent that can represent it correctly, or
Yeah.
like make it, like it's almost like a translation in a way. We've talked a lot about scent memories, Lindy.
Yes, we have. So our garden, from your grandmother's garden and my grandfather's garden, we found some similarities there, remember?
Yeah.
One of your perfume oils, and then it smelled to me like my grandfather's garden, like I remember it back in the 80s. And you had these huge orange flowers. Tagetes.
Yeah, I grow them a lot because I use them in my.
I love them.
I love them too. But it's this thing about narrative scent is so interesting, and in a way, I think it's to create perfume like that. I found it's a different thing, because then as you take away from, oh, what are my favorite things? Because maybe that's not the point, because my favorite things might not be Karlyn's favorite things. So like I've been working on this perfume called Night Flight, and then I tried to imagine, people kept asking me for something medieval.
Ooh, I love that.
And I was like,
medieval too, please.
And, but then I ended up then I kind of ended up on a different trail. So I thought 17th century kind of moody meadow, maybe a stone wall, stone circle, kind of like a spooky meadow. So it's got these flowers and grass, and wet stone. And then somebody smelled it and said, oh, it smells a bit of blood. And I thought, that's perfect. That's really fitting into this spooky stone circle meadow. And then it's more of a storytelling, isn't it?
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you Spellcast, your weekly astrological guide. So, this retrograde has been tricky. There are 6 planets retrograde at the moment. I've had multiple meetings cancelled and technological and communication breakdown. So, know that you are not alone. By the 2nd of October, the planets do fly forward. So, really, this is a time to think to the past, reflect, but don't get stuck in it. Look to see what the universe was trying to teach you. And when the planets do fly forward on the 2nd, keep those lessons in mind, otherwise they'll just keep coming up again and again. Venus will enter Libra on the 29th of September, so it's a good time for relationships, getting out there. Maybe you're going to join a dating app and just get yourself out there if you're looking for love or for deepening existing relationships. So be open to much more open communication and unexpected ideas. Now, back to my chat with Lindy Fay and Johanna. Yeah, I'm really curious about the intention oil for Wardruna. So what did you want people to do with the oil as such? How could they use it?
The beauty of an intention oil in a way is like for spiritual people, you can use it's as an intentional oil, like with set your intention and either go out in the nature, or that's your way of bringing nature to you, or maybe after a long day at work and you want to transform your space immediately, or you want to just wear it and listen to the music, or just wear it as a perfume. Like I think it's up to the listener. What do you think, Lindy?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. It's like several ways you can use it. And I also discovered actually that you can also use it as a base to make, if you have a perfume that you want to have a bit more base in it, like woodiness or whatever, you can actually layer that, have that under. I've tested that. It works perfectly. Because nowadays, many of the perfumes you can buy in the perfumers nowadays, there's so many natural ingredients that are forbidden to sell with these huge brands. Many natural oils are you can locally sell it, but Johanna, but from commercially, because allergy things. So it kind of killed a lot of the perfumes, the old plastics. Yeah, so I think for that you can also use it like a practical thing like that, if you want real wood.
A bit of Norse scent.
Yeah, a bit of Norse.
Bit of Norse into your regular perfume cupboard.
Yeah.
I love it. Are you going to make more of it? Because was it a limited run that you did? A small batch?
Limited run only, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Look at me trying to get some more.
Yeah, we can see what we can do, Karlyn.
Yeah, and I love that you also worked together on the music video for yourself, Lindy.
I have had my own project also, and now it's with the band. I've always done several kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's been also since the 90s. I've just been called. Bergen is a very small city. Yeah. So it's like, hi, can you come in studio and we just need some choir. So I have the opportunity to kind of creatively just pop in and do things for others, just here and there. But Johanna said, and I suddenly found out that I have to do something with my own songs also, because I haven't really released anything. Mm-hmm. But I made tons of things that is just laying. I didn't know that Johanna is doing work for movies.
Oh yeah, I do costume for film. That's my other job.
Yeah, so she had a proper costume for me, like Draugen. That's a mythical creature in Norway.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
Like, how do we translate like mystical sea creature?
Wow.
On beautiful Lindy on a cliff in Bergen in Norway, and like coming out of the woods. And with Dei Fa, another band as well.
The band, yeah, she found also clothes for the band. And she even had because it was ice cold in the water.
It was like 7 degrees or something in that water in the mountains. But Lindy was just going for it, so she had to wear a wetsuit so we would be able to keep on filming. But you still did a really good job. You did the whole song without getting out of the water.
That is the first thing I thought when I watched it. I thought, I wonder how cold that water is.
It was really, really cold, but it was so cold that I got addicted to it. So I started ice bathing after that. So I've been bathing all winter. It was so extreme because it wasn't a whole wetsuit, it was only over the kidneys, or like to protect the kidneys and stuff. So it wasn't. So I could really intensely feel that cold, because the song I think the song itself is almost 4 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So then with the head underneath the water, that was, the ears underneath the water. That
goes to a psychedelic experience almost after a while.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it actually was, because you had to help me up from the water, I remember. And my cousin, who is the drummer, was standing on his side. You are doing really well, Lindy. Just like now, I've just asked Johanna if she wants to join also on another project that I'm on. That now
Cool.
suddenly the album the album is finished. So for new adventures in the nature over here.
Yeah, which is great because then we obviously combine a bit of scent journeying, plant foraging, mushroom picking. Last time I was there, I gathered together quite a lot of lady's mantle because in my collection I have Icelandic lady's mantle, and now I have Norwegian lady's mantle, Swedish lady's mantle, English lady's mantle. Hopefully one day I'll have Scottish lady's mantle.
Yay, I'll get you some. So what is the significance then of lady's mantle?
Well, Egyptian queens used to bathe in it.
Wow.
Because it made them young and beautiful. And in English folklore, it used to say if you put lady's mantle on a maiden's breast, they will stand up forever. Also, in other beauty spells, magically, it's also you can use lady's mantle.
Yeah.
Scientifically, it does contain an astringent, so it's re-elasticizing for your skin.
Oh, really?
So I do a face serum with lady's mantle. I mean, it's beautiful anyway. It's like, it's so refreshing and so green to the scent, quite subtle. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to blend with. And I think it works. Inspired by Hildegard of Bingen's beauty water. Now, if we're talking about magic beauty products here. So you have that one, Lindy. It's the full moon amethyst face water.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about Hildegard of Bingen a little bit?
Yeah, that sounds incredible.
Karlyn, do you know her?
I don't. I want to know.
So she's like one of my biggest idols. So she was a nun in Germany in the 1100s.
Wow.
She was an environmental activist at the time. So she was very into nature, into animism. And she said, the day that you can't breathe the air anymore or drink the water anymore, then you will listen to my advice.
Wow.
So here we are 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
Looking at her ideas and her recipes. She was also very early with using the term therapia. So she would act out plays and music when she talked about different ways of being. So one person would be anger, and one person would be sadness and guilt and envy and all these things. And she would create a play where all of these emotions could be acted out. And she also had in her convent, she would take on women that had been, accused or sectioned for hysteria. So then they came and gardened with her for a year or 2 years, and then they were cured.
Wow.
Which, I mean, sounds quite good, I think, to go and garden with Hildegard for a year. It sounds quite healing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe there was nothing wrong with them in the first place, obviously. But
absolutely, yeah. I think that word hysteria was thrown around, wasn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but just to imagine, like, what a relief it must have been for, like, being a young woman and just to come and just learn about plants and be in a garden for a year, instead of maybe being in a marriage that you didn't want to be in, or
or like an institution, or So
she's like a massive idol to me. So she created lots of tinctures, concoctions. She did music as well, which is really interesting because you can listen to her on Spotify. Yeah, because we've listened to it, haven't we, Lindy?
Yeah. So it's a choir music. Because when did she live again? In 1700s? Yeah, but she has, luckily for us, she has written down, because so it's very nice, very different kind of choir music.
Yeah, she used to do paintings, and she had a little hatch on her door to her room, and outside her room would be a monk who would write everything down that she came up with, and it was like her books or her music, everything, and it's really wonderful. It's very, I don't know, can you say multi-dimensional spiritually? Multi-medium?
Yeah, she was
Very multi-medium.
Yeah, she was using music, plant, probably words, intentions. That sounds incredible. Is she quite well known in Scandinavia then?
I would say yes. I mean, she's German, so I would say yes, quite well known. It depends on the circles, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like someone, like everybody has kind of heard that name over here at least. So,
Yeah. She also brought spelt flower to Scandinavia,
oh,
I think. So she's famous for that as well.
Sounds like a hero.
Yeah, amazing. Really amazing. And she was actually recognized by the Pope, because I think also 1100s, it was too early. Had she been around later, maybe it would have been a bit of like witchcraft warnings there. But she was too early for that in a way. But I think she was also way too ahead of her time generally, or from another time, or maybe she's lived many lives, I think.
I mean, with that in mind then, how would you say that we can use this knowledge in the current world, this knowledge of herbs, plants?
I mean, for me, obviously, I create like herbal remedies and skincare and ritual provisions, and I also eat plant-based. So I feel like so much of my life is plant-based, but maybe just to try to think about what people can use. Like if you live in a city, maybe it's not so easy. Like if you don't have a garden, if you don't have an allotment, maybe it's not so easy to have access to nature if we go from that angle. So for people that don't have easy access to nature, I think maybe looking at seeing food as medicine is quite a good way to start, like especially now when I think natural health is a little bit more in, but I think I see a lot of supplements, and like even if it's natural, it's like you buy to intake on top of the diet you already have.
Yeah.
Which maybe it's like a place to start seeing your food as medicine, or maybe just each day to do like within your regime or ritual, or that's big for me anyway, like everyday ritual. It can be little and small, and also what is regime and what is ritual. Like I have a friend, she has a shower as soon as she comes home every day, before she speaks to her children, before she does anything. That's ritual to her. So if you maybe were to do that but with a bath, and then you could use herbs to make yourself a herbal bath.
I do. That's what I'm doing before a concert. Ooh. So I've been doing it for all these years with Wardruna. So before the concert, just to have some alone time to tune into what's going to happen later. But then it can be, like rose or lavender or whatever. Not lavender, that is always after, by the way, but something uplifting. So
do an energizing bath before and a calming bath later.
Yes. Yeah. But the band was laughing so much because they couldn't believe it. They asked, "How many baths have you taken today?" And I think it was 5 or 6.
Wow!
But it's so relaxing, and it's so not relaxing, but you get into some combined water. For me, at least to lay in water and then have the scent. It's something there.
Yeah, I mean, even to go back to your video, you looked so comfortable in the water. Are you a water star sign?
I'm actually a Taurus, but I don't feel like a Taurus. And I have the ascendant. What do you call it?
Rising sign. Cancer. Yeah, the crab.
Then I have some. I think the moon or something is in Pisces. So it's a lot of So I guess it's enough water signs in my horoscope to. To explain that I love water. I used to be a swimmer also in my youth.
Cool.
So then I was swimming for 3 or 4 hours a day.
Amazing. But then no wonder you're taking 5 baths if you were used to the water for 3 hours. I love it so much as well. I go swimming in the ladies' pond in Hampstead Heath. When I'm in Stockholm, I'm always going into the water because it's so accessible there. But here it's the ladies' pond in Hampstead. That's my local swim spot. But then I was thinking for people that don't have a bathtub, or it's still possible to do a bath, and I love doing a hand bath. It sounds like maybe quite luxurious, but it's so relaxing. And it's so easy to do, and like you can do a really old school one is salt and lemon, and it's so you could just do a really simple cleansing ritual hand bath, maybe at the end of the week or at the end of the day, or you've been working and you want to just like all that kind of bust that's going on in your head will just go straight into that water. And then you can add whatever herbs, either your favorite herbs, or if you got even just lavender and thyme, or it's something you have in even like kitchen herbs, anything, or lavender oil or chamomile. Even if you have a chamomile tea, you can break it up and just pour that tea into the salt and lemon. And then
like a rosemary one.
Yes.
Rosemary, maybe, like, yeah.
Rosemary is really good. I mean, that's quite energizing as well. But then normally with the hand bath as well, the only one thing I would say is when you pour the water away, don't look at it.
Oh, why is that?
Oh, all right. Why not? Can you?
Because if all your worries or negative energy have gone down in the water, then it's better to not look at it when you pour it away, because then you're leaving it.
Yeah. But that's so nice, because it's psychologically probably it's a really good thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
What you're saying there, you just we're throwing away the negative.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's so cool. Like, yeah, I'm a huge bath person as well. I don't know how people live without a bathtub, really. It's like an essential part of my life. I can't imagine not having a bath. I'm really into like rose. Like rose is definitely my scent.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huge rose fan.
Yeah, same here.
You know that, Lindy.
Oh.
Yeah. But have you? What do you have any? Are you a water sign then? Since you love water, also.
I'm not actually. So I'm a Libra, so an air sign, but I've got a Taurus moon, and all of my friends are Taurus. Like every single one of them is Taurus.
Wow.
Wow, that's special.
I think I'm more Taurus than I think I am. Yeah. I just attract them. It's really odd. I like that I love their loyalty. I think their loyalty is like so admirable. And Libras can be a bit flighty and a little bit la la la. Whereas the Taurus is really grounding. So I think I really thrive on that. But yeah, they're like a moth to a flame, the Taurus.
Amazing. I'm like that with Aquarians. I surround myself with Aquarians. I'm Sagittarius, but everyone around me, all my best friends, my partner, my sister-in-law.
They're a lot of fun, Aquarians. I love rose tea as well. I drink a lot of rose tea. I don't know what it is. I just love rose. Like, what would you say is the most powerful thing about rose?
I mean, for me, I'm obsessed with rose, and it's so many various roses as well. Moroccan rose, Turkish rose. I have probably 12 different rose perfumes that I wear, and then I use a lot of rose oil. I do rose water, rose essence. I use it almost in everything, tea, food. It's a massive part of my life as well. And to me, it's just so incredibly beautiful and joyful as well. It's like an ultimate feel good. It's just so powerful, but in a strong way, and not in a not necessarily a dark way or a sunny way. It's this middle powerful core almost for me. Anyway,
yeah,
and obviously it's great in like when I say love spells, I mean more like TLC and self-care and self-love and healing.
Yeah,
I think it's absolutely wonderful, so powerful. Rose for you, Lindy.
I've always felt that there's some kind of luxury. It's almost the most luxurious plant, if it's possible to say something like that. It feels like luxury. But also it was very warm, not like posh luxury, but like real luxury. So, and enveloping, it was like it's getting a hug almost.
Yeah.
So that's it's funny that you remember, because that is what I usually go for when I take a bath. before the concerts is rose. If I can get with me a good quality rose oil, and I also think it's also very versatile. You can do a lot of, although it's very distinctive in smell, there is a lot you can do with it anyway, I think.
Yeah, I wear Rose Absolute by Guerlain to bed so often. It's like, and that, I mean, it's quite luxurious, I suppose, but it's like only a tiny bit of the Rose Absolute just to set that bedroom space, and it's like have an amazing sleep.
Yeah,
wow, I love that.
I do the same with. I also have many rose scented perfumes in my collection. So I also go for, when I sleep, I usually do one for Patricia Nicolai, the Parfums de Nicolai, and because she has one that is called Rose Royale, and that is a very like real rose. If you go and smell real roses without anything added to it almost. But she's so clever, you can feel almost like a rose when it has rained upon it. So it's like very kind of realistic, but it's so comforting. So I don't wear that normally, like, because then I like more complex things maybe. But for bed, like, then it's, yeah.
Yeah, it's great that you said that you would use that before a show just to get you into the right connected space. I mean, off the back of that, do you think songs are spells, that they're putting something out into the world?
Yes, I was thinking a lot about that because, I've done that since I was as long as I can remember. I used to, when I was little, we had and I was talking 2-3 years, when I was 2 or 3 years maybe. I remember that I was going in circles listening to music around one of those heaters that was standing in a room, because our house was quite cold in winter, so I was walking around and just listening to music. So daydreaming and stuff. So I still do it like every day. I use some hours actually to just listen to stuff I like. But then I remember going to school. It was one when Depeche Mode came out with Enjoy the Silence.
Oh yeah.
And then that must be some spell put into that, because I actually had to listen to that song in the morning before I went to school. I couldn't stop. And then I came late to school. I didn't catch the bus, and it's like 3 kilometers to walk. And I did that for several days. I came too late to the bus, so I came at school maybe like half an hour too late or something. And the teacher say, "What's going on here? Like what?" And you had to write these notes on like why I was late. So I had to write why I was late. And the teachers just kept the notes. So I got them 3 years later. I got them back because they really thought it was quite funny. But there it actually says, I just had to listen to the Depeche Mode's new song. That's why I couldn't, catch the bus. And it was several of those. Yeah, several of those. So that song there must have some spell to it for me.
That is such a great song. I completely.
It's super. It's like, I listened to it today before we are talking now. Also, it's
great. It's relevant. And what about you, Johanna?
Talking about the God before.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to at least give one Hildegard song, and that's the Vision. So if you want to look that up, it's really beautiful. And I think I listened to, there's like a 90s recording that's amazing. You'll hear what I mean, because it's got a bit of pan flute going on in the background, so that's really amazing. And then another one that came to mind is Deep England by Gazelle Twin and all-female choir Nix. I don't know if you've been listening to that album. It's really beautiful, and they draw a lot on folklore and the land, but even the vocals, it's just so like rhythmic, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. It must have been some magic involved also, I guess, when you can't stop listening to a song. Yeah, so I have 2 songs that has just been spinning on my headset now for probably a week. It's a duo called Stax,
which is from some place in Europe, and it's a song called Passengers of Time, and the other one is Above Ground. But those two songs I've been listening to over and over and over again for probably
Wow.
every. Yes. So whatever magic they have put into it, I don't know, but yeah.
That's so cool. I'll check those out as well. And totally, like, it could also just be like from the person, like when you perform, I completely feel that way, that it spells, that it's powerful, it's magical, it's ritualistic. I totally feel that. So, and I
Thank
guess
you.
maybe those artists are doing it sort of unintentionally, those other artists that you mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know, but it's like it goes straight to. I feel like, for example, those or these stacks. It's too. I wonder if it's a brothers or something, but I feel that I can hear there is a lot of sorrow or something
oh,
in when it's, and it's so beautiful. It's like, oh, whatever is going on here, because I can't understand every word. I can't pick up because English is not my mother tongue and not theirs either. They're from Belgium,
oh,
so some of the words, it's like I know kind of most of the sentences, but it's like some words just disappears in a way. But I can feel like to me it sounds like it's really something very heartfelt
I love that.
there in that music. And then yeah, they hit a soft spot with me at least. That's for sure. So
Great.
sometimes you just discover things like that. And
Yeah.
Maybe you'll hear from them, Karlyn.
Yeah, let's get them on the
Yeah.
podcast.
yes,
I love that. What is next for you both? So are you off out on tour, Lindy?
yes, I'm so looking forward to it. I love travel. That's the most fun thing I can think of in the whole world. And also, of course, I love to be with Wardruna. We are like it sounds a bit weird, but it's true. We are really like a family. Because we have been now together for so many years, most of us. And we are going to the States, and Canada.
Yeah.
So 10th of October, then we are leaving this country. Which is
Fantastic.
normal. Yeah, 1 month. It's the longest tour we have ever done. And yeah.
Amazing. Anything else coming up for you in terms of Dei Farne or anything
Yeah, we are
else?
working on new stuff, and also there is an album coming out which together with Christian Gal Aspedal, and we are doing a collaboration together with a guitarist. So we have done that, used to work like when we have spare time, but we have the last 3 years or so we have put work into this, and that is finished recording and mixed and everything. So that's what also Johanna is going to participate with the video. Yeah, in the video. So it's also totally different music than this is fun. I love to do stuff that you have to kind of adjust to something that you aren't used to doing.
Yeah, I love it.
This album is absolutely, because the music was a lot of music there already, but no vocals. So we were kind of called in to do vocals on it. But me and Christian, we could do whatever we want.
That's so great. Yeah.
Yeah, very fun. Very fun.
And also because I interviewed Aurora for season 1. Yeah, I need to come to Bergen. Like it's calling.
You have to. I think you would love it here.
No, it's really amazing, and it's so that will be on my what's coming next list as well. Hopefully now it's like we haven't decided a date, but I can't wait to come back to Bergen. It's so beautiful, and all the nature, and it's different from Sweden. Sweden's got the archipelago, and Bergen has got the lakes and the fjords and the mountains, and it's so beautiful there. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, Dennis, they also are very including. So I think you would love it there because it's very including. It's a small city, but a lot of artists and musicians in Bergen for some odd reason. But it is, and then we have these meeting points. Meet and very including. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
So, for example, at Gallery Fiala, for example, with the Christian's Gallery. So you just come in there, and then there is a fair chance that you will not leave before the next morning, because people are sometimes just sitting there after closing time and chatting, and so yeah. You should come over.
What else is coming up for you, Johanna?
Like my immediate future holds that I'm going to go to Grasse in France next week. Obviously perfume mecca, so I can't wait for that. So I'm doing like a long weekend of just scent experience. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I love autumn. So coming back to England to spend autumn here is going to be amazing with all its bottling and preserving and making in the plant world. So I can't wait for that. And then I'm most likely working on another intention oil for another music group, but to be continued. I'll let you know when I have more info on that. And then what Lindy already mentioned, the music video with them. So a bit of a mixture there.
I love it. I absolutely love both your work. It's just so important and needed now more than ever. I just love that all of this stuff is getting a bigger platform now. It's just so great. And I think people will really connect with everything that you've said today. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Lindy Fay and Johanna exemplify so much of what I love about music and magic and how they can intersect. And do you know what? How they've always intersected. The way that they use herbs and scent and music and art are practices that, remember, women and some men, but mainly women, would have been chastised and murdered for not even that long ago. But these are things that work. These are things that help us to manifest our own lives, our own reality, and the things that we want in this life, because we're not here forever. I love that there's a newfound respect and interest in this sort of practice if you look at things like witch talk on TikTok or even witches of Instagram. These things are gaining much, much more momentum now, and thank the universe, because we need them more than ever. This podcast has been hosted and produced by me, Karlyn King, with music from the Caledonias. Follow us on Instagram at Songsarespells Podcast and on TikTok at Songsarespells, and watch out for Tarot Friday every Friday on our socials. And remember, you can join our Patreon community for weekly accountable witchery. Just follow the link in the bio. See you next week.